So he's a man, he should die. The same way you want to be babied, pampered, loved, respected, provided for, you know, taken care of, is the same way they want all these things. He doesn't have 28 heads. You can actually do that for him as well. But women don't know how to show love to men, like the love that we want to receive. How about you actually show him that kind of love? I mean, don't you think he's human? Don't you think he's human to receive the gifts that you want to receive? Don't you think it's human him to receive the little, you know, cute nose? Don't you think he's human enough to be asked out on a date? Don't you think he's human enough to be at least chased a little bit, you know, giving those cute butterfly vibes or moments? Don't you think he's human enough to receive that? So hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hey girl, my name is Lucy. I always say to subscribe, join the family. We always have a good time on this channel. Now, as you already read by the title, today's video is going to be a very sensitive one. I mean, I'm going to talk about this because it is important, and you guys know that whenever I'm speaking on my channel, I like to speak facts, and I also like to be honest. Like, in as much as we like to call men out for basically everything that they do, we also need to call ourselves out. And you know, you guys, this channel is a women's channel, okay? It is pro women. I talk about self-improvement as a woman. I talk about dating yourself as a woman, you know, just enhancing and improving yourself all around as a woman, especially in your 20s. But yeah, you read the title, so you know what the video is about. We're going to be talking about men, you know? We're going to be talking about how men get neglected. Let's dive right into it. I know I've said a bit of it in the beginning, but yeah, I am pro women, okay? Like, let's not get it twisted. I just don't want anyone thinking that me saying all of these things, like, nah, I just don't want that, okay? I'm not making excuses for this man, okay? These men on the street, I am not. And everything that I'm going to talk about today is not me trying to justify or excuse their bad behavior in any way. I'm not trying to explain it, because realistically speaking, it can't be explained. Talking about society and women, I'm not even going to say just society, but women as well contribute to most of the actions that men exhibit. Now, like I said earlier, I'm not justifying it. I am not justifying it. I'm going to keep saying this. I am not, but I'm just trying to be honest with you guys. Especially the African society makes it seem like, say that men have to be this strong, you know, no weakness, you know, always has to be masculine, always have to have it together, always has to carry every problem in this world on their shoulder. You shouldn't have a soft side. And basically, these are things that have been imbibed in men from a very young age, and actually they live by it for the rest of their lives. You know, as women, we have like a long list of what men or our men should do, or what they should have, or what they should be like. Men are like providers, they are protectors, which they are. They are providers, they are protectors, they are. To be honest, like, how many of you stop for a second to be like, what's my own long list that I need to be to this man? So we all want a man that adds value to our lives, but it's like, what value do you have to add to his life? That's my main point of this video. It's like, you want everything and more, right? Which is all fine, all well and good. He wants things too. I feel like it's something that we know, because I mean, we're humans, so he wants something, you want something, we all want something. You're ticking all the boxes. He has the right to do that as well. And I feel like that's something that most women find hard to believe. It's a bitter pill for most women to accept. Now, let me talk about this thing for a second. You know that question of what do you bring to the table that offends most women? Now, this is my opinion. I'm going to stand by it. It's only an insecure, weak and lazy woman that will find that question offensive. I don't think that's a question that I would necessarily be offended by if a guy should ask me that, or if it comes up, if it's thrown at me. It's like, it's the same thing. You want this, you want a man who is stable, you want him to have his entire life together, you want him to be able to provide, you want him to do this, do that, carry the family's weight, do this, pay the rent, do this. Like, but what does he get from you? The sad truth about these things is that most women actually put forward their beauty, physical appearance, body, hygiene, all these other petty things as what they stand to offer or what they bring to the table. It's not special. Can assure you that your neighbor could be finer, would definitely have better body, and honestly, if your husband or boyfriend would step to her, I'm pretty sure she could do a better job than, you know, you would be able to do on bed, and maybe even cook a better meal for him after. And just like that, in the snap of the finger, the entire value that you could add to that man's life has been thrown into the trash. You need to have much more than that. Like, people talk about this a lot of times, but it's like, no, you forget that you have to have yourself right. I have talked about this thing when it comes to dating in your 20s or dating in general. If you know that you are not in the mental state, physical state, emotional state, properly balanced to be in a relationship and stand with your 2 feet, do not get in a relationship. It's the same way that they say this thing to men. If your pocket is dry, you shouldn't be looking for love, you should be looking for money. It applies to women, in my opinion. And don't get me wrong, there are people that's pretty much their love language. Even men, that's the only way they know how to express love to a woman, is by spoiling her with gifts, you know, giving her money, basically taking care of her. Some men don't actually mind. But even if your boyfriend, that's his love language, you could be okay with that, but are you completely satisfied with yourself as a human being, not having anything whatsoever, not having your own like foundation, not having your own crown? It just doesn't make sense. Think about it. And then tomorrow, what if it's not able to provide? Like, it's something that people don't actually think about. What if the well just runs dry at some point, which is very possible, because the only thing that, you know, is constant in life is change. What can you do at that point? What would you do at that point? There are so many things that go into loving a man right, rather than just cooking for him, you know, cleaning his house, being there for him when he needs someone to talk to, you know, satisfying him on bed. And I feel like most of us forget that we also have, not, I wouldn't call it duties, but a part to play in terms of making a relationship, marriage, and everything else work. I am not by any means calling anybody out. I'm just trying to educate you. I'm trying to remind you, because I do know that everyone knows this thing. You have to be somebody for yourself. You have to create your own path. I talk about, you know, having your own self together. I talk about being a high value woman. And to be honest with you, it's not for him even, it's for yourself. There are women that actually, you know, chase their life, build their lives, but also do have stable relationships, and they're actually adding value to that relationship in every way that they can, even if it's domestic wise or financially, or, you know, any way they can. They actually support their partner. And I've talked about support in so many ways. People had different opinions, but I feel, now, whenever I say this, I always like to put a disclaimer. I like to be a baby girl. I love to be a baby girl. I love to be spoiled. I love the gifts. I love, you know, a man that can provide. I love all the, like I've told you guys in like a couple videos, I am not a 50-50 woman. I definitely am not. Okay, I am not. But that does not mean that I wouldn't add value to my relationship or support my partner in any way that I can, even if it's financially. Like, I don't see where it's a taboo to actually put something on the table, to lift burden off your partner's shoulder. And that is something that people cannot even stomach sometimes. It's like, oh, I am taking up this because I just want to lift it off Felix's back. I mean, it's just a little part I just want to play. And they're like, he's a man, he should do it. So he's a man, he should die. Is that what you mean? Because he's a man, he should die. It's the little things. Like I've said before, I personally want a man that can provide. I want to have the opportunity to do things around. And the only way I can do that is if I have a head on my shoulder that is sitting perfectly and I'm able to stand on my 2 feet without actually shaking. And that's exactly my point. Yes, go for the man that you want in every aspect of life. Build that list and walk through it. But also have a head on your own shoulder that sits perfectly, okay? You're not walking into that relationship, you're not walking into that marriage with your bags only to just sit in a man's house and basically decorate it, because at this point, that's what it is. decorating a man's house. Let me say, humans can have the right intention going into a relationship or entering that marriage. But when the burden is too much on you, you begin to look for ways to ease yourself off those burdens. And if you don't have the right support system, that's where it becomes bad. Now, I'm going to say this again, I'm not excusing bad behavior, but I'm just saying the reason why you need to at least put in your 1, 2, 3 to support your partner in every way possible is because you want to lift the burden off their shoulder. You know how we talk about it's the little things for me. He needs those little things too. I've said that before in one of my videos. I just kind of remembered it. I have wine, but I wasn't drinking the wine. The way you want him to surprise you, you decorate a room with like roses and like, you know, gifts and stuff. He doesn't have 28 heads. You can actually do that for him as well. But women don't know how to show love to men, like the love that we want to receive. How about you actually show him that kind of love? I mean, don't you think he's human? Don't you think he's human to receive the gifts that you want to receive? Don't you think it's human him to receive the little, you know, cute notes? Don't you think he's human enough to be asked out on a date? Don't you think he's human enough to be at least chased a little bit, you know, given those cute butterfly vibes or moments? Don't you think he's human enough to receive that? And I feel like we don't think that they deserve it, or we just think as men they don't need those soft cute things. I mean, there could be men out there that don't actually care about those things, but I feel like majority of men care about those things, but because they are supposed to be strong, they are supposed to not have a heart. Not literally, but I mean, you get what I'm trying to say. They just overlook it. They're like, okay. There are men that actually have been dating women for years on years on years and have never received a birthday gift from their girlfriends before. But every single year, their girlfriends have birthdays. The girlfriends actually they always have wish lists. And the men cannot have that because it's like, why you are a man, why are you asking for this and that? That is not fair. Do you know there are men that actually have never received the kind of, you know, subtle love, like this kind of cute moments from their girls before? It's not like they wouldn't like to, it's just they don't think it's the normal for a woman to do that, so it's like they don't really even think about it, which is so sad. I've seen so many situations I cannot even begin to count. What can you do to make that man feel loved? If you're going to say sex, like, sis, you have failed completely. My camera is almost dying and I just have to switch out the memory cards a bit, but as I was saying, yeah, so if that's the only thing that you're able to bring to the table, if that's the only value you can add to that man's life, you have failed. I don't want to be mean, but then you should reevaluate yourself as a person, reevaluate yourself as a woman, reevaluate yourself as someone who is someone's partner. Because if you don't have it together, don't expect somebody else to have it together. You want something that you cannot provide. That's selfish. This is not to say that he would act right if you even have it together, but I'm not talking about the men. That's the reason why I said this is not because of pleasing a man or being the right woman for a man. This is about yourself. This is about improving yourself. This is about being a high value woman. Most of the time it's like, what would the man pass on to his kids? Yeah, but he didn't create the kids alone. Like, he has a woman that he created the kids with, and yeah, he should be able to pass something down to his kids. And same for the woman. It should never be a one-sided situation, and that's exactly the point I'm trying to make. In our society, it's usually he has to, he will carry both your problems, your family's problems, your entire generation on his shoulder, plus his own behind him as well. And then you expect his head to be correct. How will he be correct? Explain to me how he would have so much on his neck by himself, plus his immediate family there too. And then you want him to have a clear head. I always say you need to look for, in particular, a partner. I always use the word partner whenever I'm talking about relationships rather than just husband or boyfriend, because I feel like when you get together with someone, when your soul is like intertwined with someone, trust me, you're going into a partnership with that person to do life with them. I don't see any reason why anything should change or turn later on just because he's the man. Because usually when a man picks a woman, woman is because, okay, you know, this woman is good for me, you know, we were in love, all that good stuff, the usual stuff. And then later on, when things actually start to progress deeper, it's like, okay, I'm resuming my role as a woman, you resume your role as a man, and that's what it should be. And I really don't begin to, I don't get it. Oh, let me talk about emotional support with men, because honestly, we always, oh my God, women always talk about, he's not there for me emotionally, I need emotional support, I need somebody who is emotionally available, which honestly, I'm going to make a video about emotionally unavailable men. We all want emotionally stable and available men in our lives, and it's like, yeah, because you're in touch with your emotions. And to be honest, most men, especially African men, I'm directing this to African men a lot because I know that most of our issues as African women dating African men stems from, you know, what we've been taught growing up and how, you know, the culture has already put so many things and filled our heads with so many things. Most men are cold because they shift their focus from, you know, love and emotions to just being successful and chasing money, because honestly, in an African community, they only rate a man that has money, and you know it. Have you ever stopped for a second to ask yourself, you know, does this man have emotions? Do you think he's actually going through something? Do you think he could be depressed for not being able to speak out? Because to be honest, most men feel like speaking out when they are emotionally down is a sign of weakness. So having the right woman around that man that is going through something helps him be able to express himself freely without being judged. So have you ever thought for a second to sit him down and I'll create a space for him to be vulnerable and, you know, pour his heart to you and talk to you without you actually seeing him of less of a man? Do you understand? Because most women will be like, if you just see a man shed a tear or, you know, is sad about something, is like, that one is not a man, Jare. Like, that one is not strong enough. We need somebody that is strong. What do you need? A thug. Even thugs have emotions. Like, what are you talking about? Like, situations are happening in your relationship and it's taking a toll on you emotionally. You're both involved in that situation, but you don't care about how he feels in the situation, but you want him to care about how you feel. And it's like, since when did we become this selfish that we cannot realize that these men are actually human beings that need the things and deserve the things that we ask them for? Emotionally, physically, financially, support your man, okay? Like, if it doesn't work out at the end of the day, make sure that you trust yourself that you're pretty much putting everything down. You're laying everything down, and if it doesn't work, then it's not meant to be. You have to play your part in the relationship. You have to add value to that man, add value to the relationship, respect him, you know, love him the way that he should be loved properly. I don't care if it's too girly, because it's like, okay, I can't do this because that's for girls. Who said so? Who said that men don't love chocolates and flowers too? Like, since when did we become the judge of what they should like and what they shouldn't like? What makes you feel like he doesn't like to be chased too? Because oh my God, can I just say, I don't know what the problem is with my TikTok, like my FYP, or every time how to get a man to be obsessed with you. First tip they give you is don't chase a man. Yes, I already said that as high value women, we don't chase, we attract. Yes, I said that. But it does not mean that if you like a guy, you shouldn't chase him. They are humans too. You have emotions, they have emotions. What makes it, like, where is that rule? Who wrote it down that they have to take the first step for literally everything? They don't have water or pretty much alcohol running through their veins. It is blood. And I just need you to understand that the same way you want to be babied, pampered, loved, respected, provided for, you know, taken care of, is the same way they want all these things. And the moment that we come to realize that, the better for us, and would have beautiful and marvelous relationships that would flourish and grow. And if it doesn't work, still, it just doesn't work. It's not the right person for you, and that's just the truth. I'm going to leave you guys here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Follow me on Instagram if you're not already following me. Subscribe to the channel, you guys. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.